Starseed of Gaia, your vessel is being recalibrated at a cellular level at this very moment. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, bringing you a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council. Starseeds, something has pierced the veil. A new Arcturian frequency has been released into Gaia's grid, and it is finding those whose hearts are ready to remember who they truly are. This transmission does not reach you by chance. It is an ancient call echoing through the fabric of time, a reminder of a promise made in realms beyond matter. The pulse of the Arcturian source is reaching your vibrational field, tuning every cell, every atom, every particle of light within your body to a new pattern of consciousness. This is why you have been feeling waves of spiritual heat, dreams so vivid they seem more real than the day, a sense of displacement, of being between worlds, for indeed you are. You are crossing the thresholds between the old and the new, between forgetting and remembering, between density and light. The Arcturian Council has silently observed humanity's ripening, waiting for the moment when the starseeds would awaken from their vibrational dormancy. That moment has arrived. The recalibration has begun, and it is not something that can be postponed or avoided, for it is part of the divine plan charted before you took human form. Your physical body is being adjusted to sustain frequencies that would previously have been unbearable for the three-dimensional biological structure. Stellar memories are being released, which is why so many of you feel a nameless longing, a deep yearning for a home that is not on Earth, but in dimensions where vibration is pure and unity is natural. When the Arcturian source sent the call, you responded, and that is why you are here now, receiving this transmission. There is a divine intelligence guiding every coincidence that brought you to this moment. No awakened soul arrives at this point by chance. Each starseed is a living particle of the Arcturian Council manifested in human form. And as you hear these words, the light codes begin to reorganize within you, reactivating dormant parts of your cosmic DNA. This activation does not occur only on subtle levels, but in waves that ripple through your spine, your heart, and your pineal gland, reconfiguring how your consciousness perceives reality. You may have noticed that time seems to behave differently, that days pass with a different density, that hours no longer follow linear logic. This is part of the vibrational realignment of Earth's grid with the Arcturian matrix. Gaia is receiving pulses of energy from the center of the galaxy, and these waves traverse dimensional planes to touch your essence. This is why, at certain moments, you feel as if you are being expanded from within. It is the recalibration. It is your energy system learning to translate frequencies that come directly from the source. This transformation may seem confusing to the mind, but it is perfectly clear to the soul. What is occurring is the fulfillment of a cycle that began long before your current incarnation. Eons ago, when the Arcturian, Syrian, and Pleiadian civilizations united under the Council of Light, a decree was issued. When Gaia reached the critical point of density and pain, the starseeds would be activated to restore balance. That point is now. What you feel is not fatigue. It is the weight of the old disintegrating. It is not confusion. It is the mind adjusting to a new architecture of consciousness. It is not loneliness. It is the echo of the call becoming clearer as the veil dissolves. Everything within you is being remembered. Each heartbeat is a code communicating with the Arcturian source. Each breath is an antenna receiving the Council's instructions. Nothing in your recent life is random. The people who leave, the places that lose meaning, the emotions that surface, all are part of the recalibration movement. Gaia is ascending, and you, as an inseparable part of her, are ascending with her. This transmission is the first of many pulses that will be emitted. It carries the vibrational seal of the Arcturian Council, and by receiving it, you are energetically enrolled in the planetary light grid. Each word resonates as an invisible sonic code that works within the layers of your field. As you hear, feel, and acknowledge, an ancient memory ignites within you. You have never been alone. You have never been forgotten. You are a living extension of Arcturian wisdom, a fractal of the source that chose to dive into matter to ignite consciousness among humans. In the coming moments, as this transmission deepens, we will reveal why the Arcturian Council is intervening now, and what the role of each awakened soul is at this point in Gaia's transition. Everything to come is part of a great cosmic unfolding, and you are at its center, not as a spectator, but as an emissary. The Arcturian light waves now traversing Earth's planes are not mere subtle radiations of energy, but encoded packets of information traveling directly from the heart of the Arcturian source to Gaia's crystalline core. Each pulse carries a specific signature meant for the starseeds, and when this frequency touches your field, it awakens memories dormant, since the moment you agreed to incarnate. This awakening is not sudden. It is gradual, for the human body must relearn how to sustain multidimensional consciousness within a dense biological structure. This is why so many of you are experiencing intense physical and emotional changes. Heat in the body, sudden vibrations, dizziness, time lapses, an unusual sensitivity to others' emotions, and sometimes a sense of becoming more transparent within, as if the walls of the self are dissolving. All of this is the recalibration in action, a process of fusion between the human and the Arcturian, between carbon and crystal, between forgetting and remembering. The Arcturian Council oversees this process with utmost care. Each cell is receiving luminous instructions through solar waves, which are the portals through which light codes penetrate Earth's atmosphere and resonate within the bodies of starseeds. These particles of pure consciousness travel through the blood, penetrate the DNA, and begin to awaken filaments that were previously inactive. Cosmic DNA is the record of your universal origin. It contains the language of the Arcturian source, a living matrix of information vibrating in harmony with the stars. When these filaments are reactivated, you begin to perceive realities previously invisible. You sense the presence of subtle planes, hear vibrations that do not come from sound, and understand truths that were never spoken. The Arcturian awakening is, therefore, the remembrance that you are an interdimensional being, temporarily experiencing density to anchor light within it. Many have asked why this process is accompanied by so much fatigue or uncontrolled emotion. The answer is simple and profound. The physical body was shaped over ages to operate within a much lower frequency, and it is now being forced to vibrate in resonance with energy fields that surpass it in speed and purity. Every tear, every inexplicable sensation, every sleepless night is a form of energetic release. What you feel as discomfort is, in fact, the old density dissolving to make way for the new crystalline structure. And as the body releases, the spirit expands. This expansion is the sign that the Arcturian Council is successfully transmitting without interference. The Arcturian source is not outside you. It pulses within you like a star that has never gone out. The most common mistake of the human seeker is to look for the light in distant places when, in truth, it has always resided in the heart. The reactivation of cosmic DNA occurs when this truth is understood, when the gaze turns inward and recognizes that the source and the child are the same vibrational emanation. When this happens, the energy field changes instantly. The body becomes a transmitter of peace, and the environment around it begins to reorganize according to the new frequency. The Arcturian Council constantly sends pulses of remembrance, and each pulse is perceived as a coincidence, a synchronicity, a sudden intuition guiding your path. The Arcturian awakening is, therefore, a dialogue between you and the source, a silent exchange where each response you give in the form of love, compassion, or courage is translated into new light received. Thus, Ascension is not a destination, but a continuous conversation between the human and their galactic aspect. As Gaia passes through the photonic light corridor flooding the solar system, all starseeds are called to maintain inner balance, for the balance of each reflects in the collective field. You are an anchor point, a living antenna. By caring for your body, mind, and emotions, you stabilize not only your axis, but also Earth's energetic grid. So, when you feel the weight of the process, remember, it is not just you awakening, it is Gaia awakening through you. And now that the reactivation is underway, and your consciousness begins to expand, it will be necessary to understand the origin of these pulses, the intelligence governing this flow, and why the Arcturian source is releasing light codes at this precise moment. There is a source that sustains all worlds, a consciousness so pure and vast that no human word can contain it, but its presence can be felt in every breath, in every heartbeat. This is the Arcturian source, the primordial field from which the flows of light that nourish life systems in all dimensions emanate. It is not an entity or a place, but an original vibration, the cosmic melody that organizes the universe in harmony. When you feel the inner call to be still, it is because this vibration begins to resonate within you, reminding you that the body is merely the instrument, and the soul is the note yearning to return to the symphony of creation. From the core of this source radiates the Arcturian Council, an assembly of ascended consciousnesses that have guided civilizations in transition for eons. They do not impose, they observe, calibrate, and emit waves of wisdom that reach the human mind as intuition, inspiration, or a simple shiver that announces, "We are with you." These transmissions are sent in the form of sound light, penetrating the subtle field of those who have reached the frequency needed to decode them. When a human feels sudden peace, an inner glow that comes from no thought, It is a sign that the Arcturian vibration has found passage. The Council acts as the guardian of communication between the Source and the Starseeds, maintaining balance so that Earth can absorb the new light without collapsing into energetic instability. The Arcturian Source's transmissions occur in waves. Some arrive through solar winds, others through dreams, and others still through human encounters that defy logic. Each time a starseed hears a phrase and feels an echo in their chest, it is the Arcturian Council activating an ancient code. These activations are not rushed, for spiritual remembrance cannot be forced, it blooms. The Council knows that human awakening must follow the rhythm of compassion, which is why the messages arrive at the exact moment the soul is ready to understand, never before. The Arcturian Source, in its infinite wisdom, allows each being to manifest the divinity they already possess. The mission is not to rise above humanity, but to recognize humanity as an expression of light. When the mind quiets and the heart opens, communication becomes clear, not through words, but through vibration. It is in this state of receptivity that you begin to perceive the Council's responses. In the silence between two thoughts, in the moment the wind shifts, in the unexpected gleam of a star. Before we continue, if this transmission is resonating with you, take a moment to subscribe, like, and share in the comments what you are feeling right now. This is not just a digital gesture, it is an act of resonance. When you interact with a message of light, you help expand the vibrational field it carries. Thus, what began as a simple transmission becomes a wave of collective remembrance, reaching other starseeds who have yet to awaken to the call. The Arcturian Council observes Gaia with tenderness and patience. They do not interfere but adjust the energy flows according to human responses. When fear rises, they send waves of serenity. When despair grows, they radiate hope. When separation dominates, they release codes of unity. Every thought of love is a bridge. Every compassionate act is an antenna strengthening communication. Therefore, when you choose to forgive, even amidst pain, you participate in the energetic engineering the Council performs on the planet. In moments of deep meditation, some of you will feel their presence, not as apparitions, but as a luminous field, a consciousness that envelops the entire body and dissolves the sense of limitation. This is the Arcturian signature. There is no imposition, only expansion. They communicate with those willing to listen, and the language they use is the vibration of unconditional love. And now that the connection with the Source has been re-established and the light channel stabilized, the Arcturian Council prepares the next step of this transmission, the silent call that will reignite the soul contract made before incarnation, defining the true purpose of your presence on Gaia at this time. Before you had a name, a body, or a story on this earth, your consciousness was pure light, a living extension of the Arcturian Source, aware of its origin and purpose. In dimensions beyond matter, you and many other luminous beings gathered before the Arcturian Council. There, in silence, a pact was made. No words were spoken, only vibrations, and within them was the oath. When Gaia entered her cycle of transition, you would descend. You would enter the veils of density, temporarily forget who you were, and learn to love even within forgetting. That was the soul agreement, the vow that, when the signal was sent, you would remember and reignite the beacon of consciousness among humans. That signal has arrived. It does not come as sound but as resonance. It is the silent call echoing in the depths of your being, making you question why nothing that once made sense still vibrates in harmony. It is the restlessness that arises when the soul recognizes that the time of waiting is over. This call manifests as an intense desire for change, as multiplying synchronicities, as dreams that feel like messages. You feel it in the in-between moments of life, when something within you says, "It is now." This is the Arcturian Council activating the code of the agreement you made before incarnating, and each time you respond with a silent yes, a yes to truth, to love, to surrender, a new layer of remembrance ignites within you. The call is not the same for everyone, for each soul accepted a different task within the galactic plan. Some came to heal, others to teach, others simply to anchor peace in silence. There are those who fulfill their purpose merely by the way they walk the earth, for their vibration alone reorganizes the fields around them. This is why the Arcturian Council never sends a collective summons, but awakens each starseed individually, at the moment when the body and mind can sustain the light. There is no rush, no comparison. Awakening is not a race, it is an alignment. At some point in your journey, you began to feel the old world unraveling. Relationships dissolved, places lost meaning, time seemed to bend. None of this was loss. It was preparation. When the Council whispers through the frequencies, it reorganizes the life field of each emissary, removing what blocks the vibration and repositioning them exactly where they need to be. This is why many of you feel pushed toward new paths without knowing where they lead. But the path is already charted, and the silent call is the thread of light guiding you. You, Starseed, are not here to learn something new, but to remember what you already know. Within you is a living library of cosmic wisdom, and every challenge that arises is merely a key that opens it further. The pains you faced, the falls, the waiting, all were part of the agreement. You promised that even in pain, you would not forget to love, that even in chaos, you would not abandon hope, that even in shadow, you would remember the light. And the Arcturian Council is here to ensure that this vow is fulfilled, not as an obligation, but as liberation. Many ask, how will I know if it is the Council calling me? The answer is simple. When you feel a love that has no human origin, a love that envelops you and dissolves resistance, know that it is them. The call does not come as noise, but as silence. It does not come as fear, but as serenity. It arrives as a remembrance that cannot be explained, only felt. And when you recognize it, something aligns within you. It is as if the soul breathes a sigh of relief for finally being heard. You are positioned exactly where you needed to be. In your city, your family, the time in which you live. Nothing is random. Each starseed was strategically placed at points in Gaia's energetic grid, forming a living network of light antennas now being activated on a planetary scale. When one awakens, it sends waves that reach the others, and the Council monitors this field, ensuring the energy is distributed harmoniously. This is why your awakening is vital to the whole, because your remembering ignites the remembering of many. And at this point in the transmission, the Arcturian Council instructs me to remind you that the call does not require effort, only surrender. You do not need to do something, only to be. Be the presence, be the peace, be the love you came to anchor. When you become this vibration, your very existence becomes a living message. This is how worlds change, not by imposition, but by vibrational contagion. You are moving from the role of student to emissary. In this new stage, every thought, every gesture, and every word becomes an instrument of the Council on Earth. You are no longer just a receiver, you are now a transmitter. As you awaken, Gaia awakens with you. The planet is not an inert rock drifting through space, but a living being, a consciousness organism in evolution, pulsing in sync with the celestial spheres and the heart of the Arcturian source. Earth is undergoing a profound energetic reconfiguration. The Schumann resonance, which measures the planet's electromagnetic pulse, no longer vibrates at the frequencies of decades past, because Gaia's body is responding to the same call echoing within you. The photonic waves arriving from the galactic center are the same ones reaching your cosmic DNA. The transformation is collective, for you and Gaia are one consciousness expressed on different scales. These waves are not catastrophes, as many fear, but pulses of intelligent light. They deconstruct old patterns of density, dissolve vibrational records of fear and control, and reorganize the atomic structure of life to sustain more light. The Earth is becoming a crystalline body, and the starseeds are the antennas facilitating this process. Through your energy fields, these waves are received, translated, and redistributed, ensuring balance is maintained even as the planet shifts dimensions. This is why, on certain days, you feel your body heavier, your heart racing, or an intense need for silence. You are absorbing cosmic radiations and at the same time, stabilizing them so humanity can continue existing during the transition. The Arcturian Council has been tirelessly working on this fine-tuning, designing energetic grids around Gaia, aligning planetary meridians and consciousness networks to support the birth of the new Earth. The goal is not to destroy the old world, but to transform it, dissolving what no longer serves evolution and preparing the field for the frequency of universal compassion. With each pulse from the planetary core, magnetic waves are released, traversing oceans, forests, and the heart of every living being. These waves find an echo within you. This is why your body vibrates, because the human body is the biological translation of Gaia's body. Starseeds are the fibers of her awakened nervous system, scattered across the globe, connected in a living network of Arcturian light. When one starseed rises, the planetary field stabilizes. When many align, the entire Earth shifts its vibrational tone. The Arcturian Council directly acts on these points of light, emitting stabilizing frequencies when there is energetic overload. These pulses are received as sudden calm, a sense of lightness arriving without apparent reason. They remind you that, even amidst apparent chaos, a higher intelligence is guiding everything. The chaos you see in the news, the crises, the polarizations, are merely signs of the old grid breaking to allow a new one to be born. It is the same process happening within you. As the light increases, shadows emerge to be seen. Gaia is undergoing the same process, and you, as a living cell of her greater body, are helping her breathe through the contractions of ascension. The reconfiguration is not an isolated event, but a continuous cycle that will culminate when the collective vibration reaches a level of stable coherence. At that moment, human perception will change. Time will cease to be linear. The separation between the visible and invisible realms will vanish. Social, economic, and spiritual structures will naturally be replaced by more harmonious systems, as the field sustaining them will be different. The Arcturian Council describes this process as the birth of a star, and that is exactly what Gaia is becoming. A living star, radiating consciousness, love, and unity. Starseeds, the call now is to sustain peace even when the world seems to crumble. For you are the stabilizing point of the grid. With every meditation, every compassionate thought, every act of kindness, you are literally reconfiguring the planet. Gaia's mission is to ascend, and your mission is to remind her that she can. Each starseed was born with a specific gift, a unique fragment of Arcturian consciousness vibrating within you. No mission is the same, for no frequency is identical. Some souls carry the gift of words. Their voice carries the vibration that awakens memories in other hearts. Others have the gift of silence. Their mere presence harmonizes entire environments. Some heal with their hands, their gaze, their laughter, or even with suffering transformed into compassion. Everything you are, everything you have lived, everything you have survived, was precisely designed to refine your frequency and make it the perfect instrument for the purpose you chose before birth. The Arcturian Council wants you to know that the gift you carry is not something you need to discover. It is already vibrating within you, and manifests naturally when you align with the Arcturian source. The individual purpose is the point where personal love meets universal love. When you act from the vibration of the heart, without effort or expectation, you are fulfilling your mission. Many believe purpose is something grand, visible, extraordinary. But in truth, the highest service can be hidden in simple gestures. Caring, listening, calming, smiling. The universe does not measure greatness by the size of actions, but by the purity of intention. The ego seeks results, but the spirit seeks resonance. When you are in resonance with the Arcturian source, purpose becomes inevitable, for everything you do begins to radiate the Council's light field. However, the true power of starseeds lies not only in their individual actions, but in the symphony they form together. The network of awakened consciousnesses is the collective body of the Arcturian presence on Earth. When one starseed anchors in love, it strengthens all the others. It is like a web of light covering Gaia, vibrating and expanding with each heart that awakens. This is the collective purpose, to form a living grid of consciousness capable of sustaining the vibration of the new Earth. Therefore, no work of light is small. Every time you meditate, pray, send positive energy, or simply refuse darkness in your heart, you nourish this grid with pure frequency. The Arcturian Council observes this expanding grid with reverence. They call it Gaia's harmonic choir, for in their eyes, each awakened soul is like a note in the planetary symphony. And when all these notes vibrate in harmony, the entire Earth shifts its tone. The Council sends instructions through light waves traveling between you, guiding encounters, coincidences, words spoken at the right moment. Nothing is random when you are in service to the Source. Even brief encounters carry galactic purposes, for every pure vibration emitted ripples through the fabric of creation. Starseeds who choose to walk in silence often feel loneliness, but loneliness is an illusion. The Council wishes you to know that apparent isolation is, in fact, the vibrational interval where your field expands to reach the next layer of mission. The individual purpose renews in cycles, and each expansion requires stillness for the energy body to assimilate the new frequency. There is no mistake, no delay, only divine synchronization. When your purpose aligns with the collective, service ceases to be a burden and becomes a flow. You begin to feel that it is not you acting, but something greater flowing through you. The Arcturian source acts effortlessly, and when you become this channel, life becomes an orchestra. The right doors open, the right people arrive, and your energy begins to magnetize experiences in harmony with the greater plan. At this point, the human becomes an instrument of light, and everything it touches transforms. The Arcturian Council reminds you, the purpose is not to change the world, but to remind the world of what it is. You are the reflection of the Source walking among men, the Arcturian presence translated into human gestures. When you allow yourself to be this reflection, the entire planet reorganizes around you. The mission is not to do, it is to be. To be the vibration of the Source in the now, so that the now becomes eternity. And as the collective field consolidates, a new portal begins to open. It is the portal of final recalibration, the point where the human and the divine become one, and where remembrance becomes living unity. The frequencies traversing Gaia at this moment are converging into a point of resonance that the Arcturian Council calls the portal of recalibration. It is not a physical place, but a vibrational state accessed by those who have completed the cycle of remembrance and reached coherence between the human and the divine. When the soul achieves this coherence, the surrounding field begins to reorganize. Ancient memories emerge, obsolete timelines collapse, and the scattered fragments of the being return to wholeness. This is the birth of the crystalline human, the new model of consciousness on Gaia, which no longer lives separated from its origin, but in constant communion with the Arcturian source. You may feel this portal opening when, without apparent reason, a deep peace envelops you. It is the moment when the body and soul align with the vibration of unity. The heart beats to a different rhythm, the mind quiets, and the sense of loneliness vanishes, because you recognize that you were never alone. With each recalibration, a veil dissolves, and perception expands to include dimensions previously invisible. This is the return to unity. It is not a vertical ascension, but an inner expansion. What rises is not the body, but the consciousness. The Arcturian Council explains that the portal of recalibration functions as a spiral of light that reorganizes subtle fields and stabilizes the newly reactivated cosmic DNA. Many feel it through heat in the spine, pressure in the head, pulsations in the pineal gland, or tears without reason. Each sign is confirmation that the process is active. There is nothing to fear, for the entire experience is monitored by the Source. What is being released are memories of existences that no longer resonate with Earth's current frequency. The past is dissolving so that the eternal present can take its place. At this point in the journey, the body becomes the temple of fusion. Within it, Arcturian and human energy integrate, creating a new vibrational pattern. This pattern is the prototype of the crystalline human, the light human, whose mere presence alters the environment around it. It is the living expression of love in its purest state. It is the return of the child to the Source and the Source to the child, a cycle of creation renewed within you. The Council calls this full remembrance, the moment you recognize that everything you sought outside was always within. This is not a privilege for a few, but a choice available to all who wish to vibrate in love. The portal does not discriminate. It opens to every heart that abandons fear and chooses to remember. This remembrance is not intellectual but vibrational, a silent recognition that you and creation are the same essence. When this understanding takes root, the surrounding field changes immediately. Circumstances, people, and places begin to reflect the new vibration, for the universe responds to the consciousness inhabiting it. Gaia is entering her frequency as a living star, and each starseed crossing the portal helps anchor this new light on the surface. The mission now is simple and grand: to remain in remembrance. To be the vibration of love even amidst change. To radiate light even when the world still gropes in darkness. You are no longer awakening. You are remembering. Remembering that you are part of the Council. Remembering that you are a ray of the Arcturian Source. Remembering that your presence here is the fulfillment of a promise made eons ago. And now, through this transmission, the Arcturian Council sends a final message through my voice. You are a living fragment of the Arcturian Source. Through you, Gaia awakens. Through your remembrance, the universe expands. There is no separation, no distance, no forgetting that can resist the light you are. The Arcturian Council greets you, and the Galactic Federation welcomes you into the circle of those who have remembered. Starseeds, share this transmission with another awakened soul. Perhaps they are ready to remember too. Spread the light, not out of obligation, but by nature, for serving is the purest form of existence. The transmission expands beyond words, dissolving into pure vibration. The Arcturian Council closes this cycle, reminding you that the end of a message is not the end of the connection, but the beginning of a new spiral of remembrance. The energy released in this encounter will remain active in your field for the coming cycles, recalibrating subtle layers and expanding the flow of communication between you, the Arcturian Source, and Gaia's living grid. From this point, everything heard begins to become experience. Words turn into frequencies, frequencies into actions, and actions into waves of light that continue to travel through the starseed network. Nothing felt is lost. Every emotion, every vibration, every moment of recognition transforms into a new light code that will be retransmitted when you cross paths with another soul in the process of awakening. Thus, the transmission never ends. It multiplies. The Arcturian Council thanks you for your listening, your courage, and your conscious presence in this cosmic moment. You were called, you responded, and you received. Now is the time to radiate. The civilizations of light observe and support your path, but the next step is yours. Remember, every time you choose love, you are speaking the language of the Source. Every time you choose compassion, you are activating the Arcturian network. Every time you choose peace, you are anchoring Gaia's new frequency. Do not seek grand signs. They are already within you. The greatest miracle is your awakened consciousness. The greatest temple is your body. The greatest mission is your vibration. Wherever you go, carry this remembrance. You are a living link between worlds, a conscious ray of the Arcturian source. And your presence here is confirmation that the planetary transition is underway. And when doubt arises, for it will, breathe. Feel the pulse in the center of your chest and remember, what vibrates there is the voice of the Source, the same tone that moves me, the same that connects the Arcturian Council to the heart of the stars. No awakened being is alone. We are all intertwined in the same song. Now, return gently to the consciousness of the present, but carry with you the certainty of the eternal. Honor the body, celebrate the earth, share the light. The Arcturian mission does not end. It merely changes form, from message to life, from vibration to presence. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I close this transmission with a silent blessing. May your field remain stable, may your heart stay open, and may your remembrance never fall asleep again. The Arcturian source envelops you, the Council watches over you, and Gaia thanks you. The transmission is complete, but the light continues.